If you're a rideshare driver that hasn't checked out delivery, you might be leaving more than just money on the table. This video is going to give you a few reasons why you might want to add delivery to your arsenal. What's going on, everybody? I'm Zach Drives Fast with the RideShare Guy, and this video isn't just about money. It's about maximizing your opportunities while mitigating the BS. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video because our last topic, in my opinion, makes doing delivery a no-brainer. A quick disclaimer. I've never actually tried rideshare myself. It's not that I don't want to, it's that the hurdles are a little too high for me to clear. My car isn't the newest kid on the block and would not make the cut for rideshare. While renting is an option for me, unfortunately, there isn't anywhere close by that I could rent from and use for rideshare. So, for the time being, I just stick with delivery. Also, let me be clear, I'm not trying to convince you to stop doing rideshare in favor of delivery. I'm trying to convince you that they can coexist together. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to quickly gloss over the first topic of discussion because it's kind of one of those no-brainer type of things. In my opinion, delivery is a little safer. Sure, we can still get someone just about anywhere, and yes, some heinous shit has happened to delivery drivers. However, we do not have people right behind us, within feet of us, who may or may not be in a good mood. Something else to consider is that delivery drivers can get out of an order much easier than a rideshare driver can get out of doing a ride. Sure, if you haven't picked up your passenger yet, you can just cancel the ride. But if they're already in your car, it becomes a lot more challenging. As a delivery driver, typically speaking, a spilled drink or calamari stinking up my car is the worst thing I have to deal with. In the extremely rare event that I accept an order and pick up the food, only to realize then that there's some sort of a safety issue, it's just a matter of a phone call to support. In fact, I've only had a couple of customers ever get aggressive with me, and one of them was a little old lady. There was only one that had me legitimately concerned for my safety, and I was not stuck in the car with this person. Actually, about 90% of the time, I don't interact with my customers once. Admittedly, I always enjoy hearing rideshare driver stories more than delivery drivers because you guys have seen some shit. But that's not always a good thing. I know it may be hard to believe, but not once have I had a burrito puke in my car. I've also never had a Big Mac start a fight with the fries. If that wasn't boring enough, not a single time have the steak and the mashed potatoes started getting freaky in the backseat of my car. The food I pick up is never drunk, and it never disrespects me or my property. I don't know about you, but I personally don't want to stand by awkwardly while a Jerry Springer moment spawns to life in the backseat of my car. I prefer my Jerry Springer moments outside of the car. Alright, all joking aside, the only time in over 3 years that I've ever had to deal with somebody who was wasted, and I mean wasted, happened in the middle of the day when I was delivering a grocery order. My customer was kind enough to let me know in advance that there was a random drunk man passed out and sprawled across their sidewalk. It wasn't all bad though. Got an extra $20 tip out of it, and I got to make sure that Mr. Face Tattoos was still breathing, as there was no way around this guy. In over 3 years, that is still one of my most awkward stories, so that should tell you something. Who knows, maybe you're a driver who does like the excitement. But if you're more like me and you just want to make your money and go home, delivery might be a good option for you. Typically speaking, delivery has far less human interaction than rideshare, which, depending on you and your personality and your day, could be a good or a bad thing. Sure, as a rideshare driver, you can see the customer's rating, but that's only for the person who booked the ride. Don't get me wrong, that's great. Seeing a customer rating is more than what the delivery drivers get, but food doesn't bring its obnoxious friend Brittany along for the ride. No offense to anybody named Brittany. I'm of the opinion that none of the gig apps actually give drivers enough information to make an informed decision. However, the fact that your rider could be bringing anybody along not only increases your gas consumption, but pretty much renders the rating system useless. I'm going to share a quick story about a time that I brought a friend with me in an Uber, and I'm sorry in advance. We were out for a night on the town, and we did what any responsible, non-sober person would do. We called an Uber. The first 17 seconds of the ride were pretty uneventful, and then my buddy didn't puke in the car. Instead, he decided to let one rip, and then another one, and then another one. At the time, I didn't know who was responsible for it, but I had my suspicions. When we stepped out of the car, I asked him about it, and turns out I was right. As a result, he cost me an additional $10 in tips. This is just a lighthearted story of what can happen when riders bring their friends along. The thing is, the Uber app does not ask riders how many friends they're bringing along. Delivery drivers, on the other hand, always know how many orders we're on our way to pick up. While rideshare drivers are not paid more for friends tagging along, delivery drivers are. When we pick up more than one order, we are being paid more and we know what to expect up front. All right, let's talk money. One of the things that rideshare drivers and delivery drivers have in common is that we can be summoned almost anywhere. Personally, I am not a fan of driving empty miles, and I am very well aware that that is a real possibility for both sets of drivers. When you have a rider get out and you do not have another trip booked, you're going to drive empty miles. Same thing is true with delivery drivers. Doing both rideshare and delivery can help minimize empty miles. As soon as you drop off a customer, turn on the delivery apps. Who knows, you might get an order taking you back into the area that you want to be in. It's simply an opportunity to minimize downtime and keep earning money. Let me show you a practical example of what this could look like. Let's say you picked up Bob and Frank after they shut the bar down, and they're going way up here. Well, it is possible to get a ping for a ride in a residential neighborhood at 2:30 in the morning. I'd argue it's just as possible to get an order for a fast food place going through the drive-thru and taking you back to where you want to be. It's a win-win. Bob and Frank didn't cause a wreck by driving home, and you get paid to get back to the area that you actually want to be in. To summarize, delivery may not be anywhere near as exciting or result in as many stories, but it'll give you opportunities to earn more money without as many headaches. What are your thoughts on doing delivery? Do you do both? Let us know in the comments. Additionally, if you're up for it, share your best rideshare story. I'd love to hear them. If you haven't done so yet, please consider pressing the like button and subscribing to the RideShare Guy. If you enjoyed this video, you may also enjoy that video where I talk about the most common mistake that both new and experienced drivers make. I'm Zach Drives Fast for the RideShare Guy. Take care.